Steve Lindley, the Deputy Director of the Wyoming Department of Corrections. And while I certainly plan and hope to have a chance to meet you personally at your respective work sites, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Wyoming Department of Corrections. We are pleased to have you join the Department of Corrections and be a part of the Wyoming Corrections family. We look forward to your career in corrections and your contributions to helping us make this the type of agency that other departments of corrections will see as a benchmark across the country. So welcome, and we're pleased to have you on board with us. We'll go through this training session in a series of different topics that you're looking at, with a variety of people inserting their comments and observations on their experiences in working with the Department of Corrections. I would say at the outset, it's certainly critical and important work. I think one of the things that's important for all of us is to have meaningful work to do, and you're fortunate to be involved in a profession that's a key part of it, and so we look forward to your contributing to the important work that we're doing in corrections. We really have a number of initiatives underway that are seeking to create the type of culture and the type of organization that we all want to be a part of, and this largely falls under an initiative we're calling Responsibility, which is actually written out differently than you might originally spell the word responsibility. It's response-ability, which really refers to our individual efforts to respond in an appropriate way, and it also recognizes the role each of us plays in making this the kind of organization that we want to be a part of. So we'll look forward to your many contributions over the time to come in helping us create a benchmark corrections agency. So throughout this training, as I mentioned, a number of staff will be speaking with you remotely, but certainly enthusiastically and personably to help welcome you into the department and give you a few key areas that we're trying to give extra concentration to. So we'll begin that with a welcome from Warden Mike Pacheco at the Wyoming Honor Farm in Riverton, and we'll give you the opportunity to hear from him with many years of experience and a lot that I think you can learn from him as well. So I will stop my portion for now and listen to Warden Pacheco. Thank you.
I'd begin by saying welcome. Welcome to the Wyoming Department of Corrections. This is a new opportunity for you. You have the support of the agency. I want you to ensure that know that you have our support to ensure that you're successful in what you do. Opportunities will be provided for you that you can take advantage of. So thank you for choosing our agency as a new career path, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
One thing we've learned from a variety of staff surveys within the department is the importance of a culture that people want to be a part of, and so part of our efforts underway are to work on creating that type of culture. That's been clearly indicated by staff, and it's something we're striving for. We all would like to be a part of a positive culture, and whether we recognize it or not, where we work, the department has a broad culture, and the respective work sites, the facilities, the probation and parole offices, the community corrections centers have smaller cultures within those locations that we contribute to for better or worse, and we're seeking to be positive contributors to the type of culture that we're seeking. Related closely to that is the type of communication that we use in our interpersonal relationships with those we're charged with working with, the offenders, but equally important and potentially more important are with our coworkers and staff if we're to have the type of organization we want and that works as effectively as it can to accomplish our mission. So we've looked at a number of tools to try and give us a better idea. Self-awareness is certainly one of the first steps in being a positive contributor to the culture we're involved in and the type of communication styles we use, our effectiveness with interpersonal relations. And one that we've been using is called colors. It's a simple personality review, basically, or small assessment. There are a number of them around, but this one is easy to use and used by a number of organizations. And so in a moment we will pause and give you an opportunity to do that. I've taken that, as have most of the people involved in this effort. I guess from my own observations, it helps to give us better self-awareness. Organizations are, like any other group of people, are made up of a wide variety of individuals. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and when we come together, we're trying to capitalize on our strengths, recognizing that the person next to you might have strengths different than you do, but they complement one another. And so that's part of what Colors does, is gives us that awareness. What are our strengths? And allows us to see the strengths in others so that we can work effectively together. So in your material, you should have a handout numbered 13.1. So it'll take a few minutes, 10 minutes or so, to complete that. And after you've completed that, then you look at handout 13.2 to get the full colors package, if you will. And so we will pause just a moment for a few minutes and allow you to finish that, and then we'll resume our conversation around the importance of communication and interpersonal relations and creating the type of culture we want in an organization. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Sam Borbet. As the WDOC program manager, I thoroughly research and analyze information to determine what will best meet the needs of the department. I'm very data-driven and like to share my knowledge when asked, sometimes when not asked. I do like to describe the details of projects I'm working on and often analyze conversations.
Hi, as a human resources manager, I really enjoy communicating information to staff. I also enjoy being part of work groups and teams. In those work groups, I enjoy positive conversations that foster teamwork and cooperation. I really pay attention to the moods and feelings of others, and I enjoy helping other people.
Hi, as the WDOC Policy and Planning Manager, I have to attend many meetings. During those meetings, I feed off of humor. I enjoy a light-hearted feel in the meetings, and I enjoy listening to good ideas. I often run with those good ideas, and I like to implement them as soon as possible. But if I hear a better idea, I tend to jump on that bandwagon too.
As the ACC coordinator, I'm responsible for overseeing 3 programs and 4 agents across the state. I am very organized and strategically plan my schedule to meet the needs of all 3 programs and agents. I utilize checklists, to-do lists, and I make sure that I follow all of the rules and guidelines to get the job done.
All right, so you had an opportunity to complete the color assessment. Do you agree with the color that it indicated you are? I can give you a bit of my personal experience. I actually had 2 that scored quite closely together, but I'm predominantly a blue, which the characteristics of that tend to be friendly and personable and enjoy conversing with people and try and take kind of pay extra attention to listening to one another, and so it's around some of the relationship piece. The other one that is closely aligned to at least my personality is a green, which is not particularly surprising. I enjoy kind of large overviews of things. Where are we trying to get to in the big picture, strategic planning, and those sorts of things, that kind of objective part that then teams up with the other aspects of my personality. But what are some of the important lessons that we learn from an inventory like colors? One thing that I need to know know. So I just described some of my characteristics or tendencies. So that's good for me to know. There are people that are much better at detail and working out the real nuts and bolts of things than I am. So if I, for example, have an idea and we're interested in moving it forward, who I'm interested in helping me with that is somebody who's very good at detail and those guys. So some of those characteristics fall under the gold, for example. They're very methodical and purposeful and have specific end goals in mind, and so that's a good combination. Or when I'm talking with an orange, a person that has those characteristics, they're fairly straightforward. They enjoy humor, which I do as well, and they want to be involved in things that are impactful. So that's a very brief summary of some of the characteristics of these different colors, but the one idea I guess I would leave with you is the importance of recognizing that in others. As I said earlier, we all have strengths and weaknesses, and so it's good for us to recognize our weaknesses. I just gave you one of mine. A high degree of detail is not one of my strengths. I know that, so I can find people who have that strength to help supplement something I'm trying to accomplish, where I know where I'd like to go, and they have good ideas on how to get there. So that's a small example of how you team up different types of strengths and characteristics to get to where you want to. And really, teamwork is a critical piece of the culture we're trying to establish. And in that sense, an effective team really has people from multiple colors so that you can pick up the weaknesses of the next person, and as a group then you have a full array of strengths. So that's a brief overview. I would encourage you to spend a little time. As I said earlier, self-awareness is the first start, the first step in the process of us being able to contribute fully to the type of organization and culture we're seeking. So I encourage you to spend a little more time, look those things over, and also look over the ones that you aren't, so that you recognize those other characteristics. But now I'm going to pause for a minute. You're going to have the opportunity to listen to another department staff member who also wants to welcome you to the department.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Vukic, and welcome to the Department of Corrections. We're glad that you've chosen to be part of our team. You know, effective communication is critical to the success of any organization, and it's no different with the Department of Corrections. Effective communication helps create positive relationships in the workplace, lends itself to success, and also helps us reach the goals stated in our mission and vision. The Department of Corrections encourages open and positive communication, and to that end we have implemented and trained our staff on a variety of communication skills, including active listening skills and motivational interview. Recently we've also brought aboard the RATE initiative or responsibility, which encourages open communication throughout the department. Again, welcome to the department, and we wish you success in the future.
As we continue, one of our themes through this training process has to do with communication. Of course, we're all aware of when communication doesn't work well, but for organizations to achieve what they're trying to, effective communication is critical, and there are a lot of techniques and characteristics that go into being able to communicate effectively. Interestingly, in this age of us communicating in multiple ways, whether it's through voicemail, which actually is sort of old school, if you will, text messages, a variety of mediums to communicate with one another. For better or worse, one of the predominant ways is through email. And while staff have indicated they like personal communication the best, in a statewide organization and just the difficulty in getting a hold of everyone you need to, email ends up being a major part of the communication that we're involved in. And there are appropriate and less appropriate ways to do that effectively. And so in your training materials, you'll be able to, we'll pause here in just a moment, and you will then pull up the PowerPoint, and it's handout 13.3, and you we'll go through that, and if there are two or more of you at your respective locations, have a brief discussion about the PowerPoint. If you're by yourself, you can have that discussion with your training facilitator, and then when we return, we'll continue on. So take a moment to a few minutes to do that if you would, please. Thank you. So you're beginning to hopefully see some themes of this training process. We're talking about the importance of, to create a positive culture, the importance of communication, and the importance of interpersonal relationships. And communication and good interpersonal relationships go hand in hand and are closely related to one another. One, as I mentioned, the responsibility initiative we've had underway in the department, and under which all of these efforts really fall under that larger umbrella. The idea of related to good communication and good interpersonal relationships is the idea of emotional intelligence. Now, at first blush, or when you first hear that, that may sound like something that is immediately hard to understand, or you're not clear on what that means. Its actual name is a little more impressive sounding than the actual concept. The concept, though, is critical but simple. It really goes to our ability to interact effectively and appropriately with one another. It's our ability to pick up what's going on with the other person, for better or worse. It's our ability, I talked a few minutes ago about the importance of self-awareness. It's our ability to know what's going on with us and how that impacts effective and less effective communication depending upon what might be happening on a particular day. And that's really what emotional intelligence boils down to. It's our ability to have a full understanding of what it takes to communicate and interact well with one another, and to not make matters worse when we're dealing in a difficult profession. That's a challenge if things are going well. And so we don't want to complicate that by things that we're doing that are moving in the wrong direction. And so we'll pause here for a minute, and you'll hear from another administrator on some of the aspects of emotional intelligence.
So when we're talking about emotional intelligence, we're talking about understanding not only people's tasks related to their work, but we're also trying to understand the things they need to be successful. So we need to understand, what does a person, what kind of feedback do they need, what kind of coaching do they need. Not only are we looking at specifically how they do their work, but we want to talk about how they approach their work. For example, the way I approach my work might be different than my team. I lead a team of about 5 folks, and each one of them brings different and unique skills to the table. And so my job as a manager is to really understand what each one of those folks needs to be successful, and then to coach them through that process.
So we're continuing along with the same themes, and you have continued to get additional information. You're working on clarifying a number of these concepts, and so the next area that we're dealing with has to do with conflict resolution. Of course, it's closely related to interpersonal relationships, to communication, and to whether the culture is working the way it's intended in a positive way. And of course, the nature of corrections, by its very nature, has conflict involved, given the types of situations that you're asked to deal with on a regular basis. And so you have a high likelihood of conflict with the people that you're working with, though there are many things you can do to minimize the conflict. And what we don't want, and what is not helpful, is if we add to the conflict by having additional difficult interpersonal relations with our coworkers. We need to all be moving in the same direction. As I said, the work's difficult enough. We want to be positive influence in moving it in the right direction. all find that helpful when we're not making matters worse and when we're dealing with difficult situations. So we'll have you look at another assignment here in just a moment. If you will take, if you'll refer to the PowerPoint that's under 13.8 and take a few minutes to go through, there are some exercises in there around conflict resolution. And if you will take the time necessary to do that, and then we'll resume after you've completed that. Hopefully those exercises continue to give you some additional insight and allow you to spend a little more time giving thought to conflict resolution. It's often people starting in different places, different ideas, different goals in mind, different approaches. Go back to the colors personality inventories, that can sometimes add to it. Our lack of awareness of our own strengths and weaknesses and not recognizing those in the other person or the other people involved can lead to conflict. And so you're getting a little bit of exposure to how to resolve conflict in positive and effective ways. And so we're going to pause here for just a moment, at least I will, to allow you to hear from another seasoned staff as to that person's view, Colton's view, on conflict resolution.
Hello, new employees, and welcome to the Wyoming Department of Corrections. My name is Colton Harrington. I've been with the department for about 17 years. In those 17 years, I've been in a lot of situations where I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of really wonderful and intelligent people. We've got a lot of positive things done, and I've really enjoyed these 17 years. Unfortunately, or fortunately, sometimes when you work with people, you can have some conflict, and some positive things can come from conflict, but there can also be some negative things with conflict. The key is, if that happens, is to just relax, to take your time to work through those issues. You've got to be able to talk to people, let them know how you feel, and then move forward. If you let things fester, if you let them grow, it just causes problems. It can make a little thing into a big thing, and you can have offices that get along well turn into places that people don't enjoy coming to work anymore. And the important thing is that you come to work at a place that you want to be. And so the harder you work to get along with people, the easier and the more enjoyable your job will be.
As your learning and training continues, and we've clearly one of the themes from the outset we've had is the importance of a positive culture, and what the Wyoming Department of Corrections is trying to do in that regard. Being respectful, each of us contributing, I've referenced a few times, our role in contributing to a positive culture and a respectful work environment are the key to us being successful. We contribute to that in positive ways, and then we will get to the goal that we desire, which is a place that is great to work at, a place you want to be, and a place that you can fulfill your career in corrections. So the respectful work environment, you will have in your training materials a few short video vignettes or scenarios that will allow you to look at some situations where the respectful work environment issue is at hand, and you'll have an opportunity to discuss and work through that. So we will give you that chance, and I will stop for a moment and allow you to do that.
Hey Caleb, how are you today?
Hey Julie, I'm doing well.
Excellent. Well, thank you for making the time to meet with me. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page for our onboarding website development meeting that we have Friday.
I really like that idea. I feel like we need to be a united front, and that we need to come to that meeting just as one team.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. So what I thought we could do today is go over the agenda, just like you said, make sure we're on the same page with things. So the first item on my agenda is the layout. So I figured we could talk about...
I am so glad you're talking about the layout of the webpage, because because I have to tell you, I've been thinking about the colors all night. I literally was thinking, we need a really good color scheme. We need something that's appealing to all of the audience because the onboarding website's the go-to spot. And I want it to be something that's really, I don't know, colorful, but yet says professional. So I've already thought of lots of great ideas for the color scheme.
Sure. So yeah, so we talked about on the agenda, the first thing we'll talk about is layout. We'll give 30 minutes to that, and that was actually my first item, so I'm glad you brought that up. Talk about the colors, make sure we have something appealing, people want to go there, they're excited about it. The next thing I thought under layout we could talk about is a logo.
I already thought of one. Oh, I cannot wait for you to, are you ready?
Mhm.
Are you ready for
I'm
this
ready.
really good idea?
Yep.
A lifesaver. Onboarding, water, the O, get it? Love it, right?
Yep. All right. Perfect. So
I knew you would love it.
all
Good
right.
idea.
Yep. Back to the agenda. So we had layout, 30 minutes there, colors, logo. So then the next main item that I want to talk about is our team.
You know, I was thinking, we need to have an open door policy when it comes to our team. We really need to have kind of,
Kayla, you need to stick to the agenda. We got to get back to the agenda.
yeah, but you just don't listen to any single of my ideas, none of them. You're just like, oh, we're gonna go back to the agenda.
Pause. Go ahead and pause and discuss what might happen if their communication styles continue to clash. Then resume.
Okay, let's take a step back. It looks like our communication styles are clashing a little bit. I'm sorry, I know I get really focused on the agenda. I'm like, gotta get through every single item. I gotta make sure I cover every item. So I know that that's probably not the best way. You're bringing up all these great ideas, but I keep going back to the agenda. And I'm sorry I'm ignoring your ideas because I believe they're great ideas. I think the O and the lifesaver would be just fantastic for our logo. So I apologize, I kept cutting you off.
And you know, I realize, as you kind of pointed out, I was interrupting you a lot. I just get really enthusiastic over my ideas, and I get so excited I can't help but want to share them. But I need to learn that you like to go down your list and that you appreciate every item being addressed. So I'll write my ideas down as they come to my head, and then I'll bring them up once we get through the agenda, okay?
Perfect. Let's rock this.
And we can do that a couple times.
But you know what, the big thing is just getting together.
Yeah,
Hi,
well, we
guys.
need to get things done. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, Heather.
Well, I just came back from the meeting, and I have to tell you guys that our schedules are gonna have to change tomorrow. The facility is having a drill, so the kitchen actually needs your help tomorrow morning. You're gonna have to get there at 4:30. And that also means that the onboarding meeting, you're not gonna be able to go to tomorrow.
What? The onboarding meeting is the most important meeting we have.
I know, it's really important.
Oh, I mean, I know the kitchen's gonna need help, but this is so frustrating. I mean, I have lists to do, I have goals to accomplish, the onboarding, we have so many things to do. I can't do this. This isn't gonna work for me.
It'll be okay, Kristen. I mean, think about it. It'll be fun. It'll be a little change, a little mix-up we can do. And think about all the cool stuff you learn, because, you know, we've never worked in the kitchen together before. And, you know, the onboarding team, they're going to understand, because, frankly, they're pretty awesome.
You're right, they are awesome.
And on top of that, you know, who knows, we might even get to make cupcakes.
Cupcakes, I need to get things done.
Well, let's see, maybe we can take some time right now and brainstorm some ideas. Maybe you can rearrange your schedules for tomorrow.
Oh, I don't wanna sit around and talk all day about what we should be doing and to rearrange things. I wanna get something done. I need to get my list checked off.
Well, maybe we can work on your list together.
I don't know. I mean, I know we need to get this done. I know the kitchen needs our help. I just,
Well-
okay, maybe we can get more accomplished by doing it all together.
That's a really good idea. Maybe we can work together, and I'm happy that we're all getting along.
Well, I'm just happy we're gonna get some checklists done.
I'm just happy.
Hey Carrie, we need to talk.
Hey, Melody, I really gotta get this report out.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about onboarding. That's a little bit more important than what you're doing right now. We need to work on what you're gonna do and how this is gonna be laid out
What
for
I'm
you.
gonna do, I've been hearing about this onboarding thing, but I didn't think it had anything to do with me.
Well, of course it has to do with you. You're You're the supervisor. When you hire people, who do you think should be training their new staff and helping them?
I do a lot of training already. What is this onboarding gonna add to my plate?
Well, obviously more, because
You
there's
know
not-
that I'm already overwhelmed.
everybody is, Carrie. You're not the only one in the DOC that's busy.
What are you saying I'm gonna have to do?
You have to help train your staff. That's what you have to
I
do.
already do that.
Apparently there's more. This is what they want from us, and we are going to do it, including you. 'Cause
You
it
already know
doesn't
that I'm
revolve
overwhelmed.
around
You come in here, you interrupt what I'm supposed to be doing, and you just lay it all out
Yeah,
on the
'cause I'm not
table
gonna
about it all the
schedule
time.
tea
What
time
are you
for
gonna
you.
do?
I'm-
Tea time? This
Yes.
is ridiculous. I cannot believe that you're
What is going
doing
on?
this. This is
You
crazy.
need to
All of
respect
these
me
other
as a
changes with the
supervisor.
DOC.
You need to respect me.
So this is how not to handle a conflict in the workplace.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Melody.
Do you have a couple minutes? I'd like to talk to you about onboarding.
I really have to get this report out. Can it wait?
Really, it can't. It'll just take a couple minutes of your time, and then I'll let you get right back to work.
All right.
Well, we have a new program coming out called OnBoarding, and it's for new staff. It's to help with training. It's to help welcome our new staff, and it's going to help the department.
Well, I've been hearing a bit about onboarding, so I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with me about it before it gets implemented.
Absolutely, and it's not going to just be on you as a supervisor. I know you're really overwhelmed and you have a lot on your plate, but this is going to be spread out through HR, the supervisor, and also a training person. So it's not going to just be on you, and I know that can be kind of hard to take on more, but this will be good for you.
I appreciate you recognizing that. I already have a lot to do, and the department's gone through a lot of changes lately, so
Absolutely.
another change coming about.
Yes, yes. So it's just going to be the first 40 hours, and you won't be responsible for all of it. So I think it'll be easy for you to kind of get into that and help your new staff get trained and welcomed.
So for the first week, it's gonna be multiple people
Correct.
doing that. Well, I appreciate that there's that compromise there, and that it's not just all on the department.
Right.
Or on the supervisor. And you're gonna be there to help me as well.
Absolutely. I'll be there to help guide and kind of train you and be there to answer any questions you have as they come up.
We certainly appreciate your willingness to do that, and I feel like this is gonna be a really positive thing.
Great.
Well, hopefully throughout this training session, you're beginning to acquire a couple of things. One, the areas of focus that are important to the Wyoming Department of Corrections. And these areas that we are focused on and that we believe are critical to creating the type of department that we want it to be, and the importance of your role in that. It's been said by many people, and I like to remind both myself and others the importance of leadership. Some people are in the traditional leadership roles and are expected to be leaders, but every one of you can be a leader. It's an attitudinal decision, and it doesn't have anything to do with your position. So I would encourage you, regardless of the position that you hold, to be an effective leader within the Wyoming Department of Corrections. And please understand that every one of you, regardless of the position, contributes in some way to the department's mission and us successfully accomplishing our mission, our vision to be a benchmark agency. You've heard from a number of people through this training session. There will be a few additional people that you'll hear from after I conclude that have both a welcome to you as well as some of their observations and advice in their respective careers with the Wyoming Department of Corrections. But we're very pleased to have you be part of this department. And as I said at the outset, I plan to have an opportunity to meet with you when I'm in your respective work areas, and I look forward to that and getting to know you on a personal level. So continue to look at your skill development around the kinds of areas that this training has focused on. And you'll have a lot more training. There are weeks and weeks of training that you'll be involved in that will give you information on key, critical, day-to-day applications that you need to know and be involved in. But what we've been talking about today are the broader, more important issues from the standpoint of making those day-to-day obligations and responsibilities really go the way that you want them to, that the department wants them to, and so they work very well hand in hand. So again, welcome to the Department of Corrections, the Wyoming Department of Corrections. We're pleased you're here. We want you to make a career of corrections, and we want this to be a place that you will and can do that. This entire session will conclude with a message from Director Lampert. So again, from me, Steve Lindley, welcome, and I'll look forward to meeting you.
So I'm visiting with you today because you have just joined the team of DOC. Now the team of DOC has three pieces. We have the field, we have the institution, and we have central. But we're one. And what's really exciting about the job is that you can be yourself and you've got people backing you. And if you have people you need to ask questions to, we're all here. I've been here 24 years. And it's like, oh my God, 24 years? But it went so fast and it's so rewarding and I am so excited. I don't even want to leave, but someday they'll probably make me leave. But until then, I'll probably visit with you. So take care, and I'm so excited you joined us. Bye.
Advice I would give to new staff is take advantage of those around you that with some experience. You're going to be faced with a lot of obstacles. You have a big learning curve at first. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Find a good mentor, somebody that you know you can respect and go to answer those questions for you. And don't be afraid to ask someone and develop some relationships with those staff that you work with.
Welcome to the DOC. Welcome to our family. Some of the advice I'd give to somebody who is new to corrections, everything changes at a rapid pace. That's both exciting and challenging. Stick with it. As time goes on, you'll get more used to what it is that your job and responsibility is. The coolest part of our job is we're in the people business, and we're changing lives. And it may come quick, it may come later. At some point, an offender or an inmate's going to come to you after they've went on their way. They may contact you by mail or by phone, and they're going to call you and they're going to tell you how well they're doing, some of their successes. And at that moment, you'll realize why we do what we do. It's to help people and make them productive members of society. So welcome to our team, and I look forward to meeting you and working with you.
New staff, keep with it. Learn as much as you can, as fast as you can. Do it right the first time. If you make a mistake, admit that mistake. We all make mistakes. Don't let them take you down.
I would say that sit back, relax, enjoy the first year. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be overwhelming. You're going to learn so much about the DOC, about people in general. This is the people business, and so many things can happen that you're not prepared for. So give yourself a year to really get in and relax and understand what's happening in the DOC.
Hi there, I'm Bob Lampert, Director of the Wyoming Department of Corrections. I promise not to take too much of your time because I'm pretty sure your brain's fairly saturated from all the orientation you've been going through this week. But I do want to welcome you to the Wyoming Department of Corrections and to our corrections family. One of the great things about working in Wyoming is that we're small enough that we really are a family. Hopefully, our family has already started to make you feel valued and welcomed because you are. Like our core values point out, you are our most important resource. Without you, the work that we do, the important work that we do in keeping the public safe and in giving offenders the opportunities to become law-abiding citizens would not get done, or certainly wouldn't get done quite as well. Getting the work done requires that we value one another, that we treat each other like family, that we celebrate each other's successes, and create and maintain a positive and supportive work environment. We need the kind of work environment that makes you want to come to work each and every day, and wants to come to work regardless of the challenges that you're going to face on any given day. That kind of work environment isn't just my responsibility, it's yours as well. coming into corrections at an amazing time. Years ago, correctional employees were viewed in the collective as guards. Well, I'm proud to say that in Wyoming, everyone, regardless of your job title, whether you're a correctional officer, food service employee, field agent, or clerical support, do far more than guard people. The orientation you just completed, coupled with the pre-service academy that you'll be attending, and the in-service training that you'll get throughout your career, will give you the tools that you need to enjoy your work, to be competent and do a good job, and to go home safe at the end of each and every day. Our employees continue to make a difference by doing the right thing at the right time and for the right reasons. They do it day in and day out. That's what the corrections profession is all about. And you can be proud to be joining a great team of corrections professionals dedicated to doing just that. You will have a chance during the academy, if not before, to meet me in person. You can expect to hear me tell you about why you're important to me. You're my eyes and ears and the people who keep me grounded. Let me know what's working and not working and what needs to be changed in order to be even more effective. So tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. You'll also hear me give you a couple of words of advice, like pay attention to your training. It's what keeps you safe and us out of court. You'll learn about effective communication techniques and conflict resolution tactics. You'll learn how to protect yourself and others and how to hold offenders accountable as well as each other. You'll learn about the mission and values and vision and philosophy of this agency, and why we are viewed as one of the benchmark correctional systems in the nation. You'll learn about how you fit in the organization, and most importantly, why your individual contributions are necessary to the team's success. We picked you because we know you are a good fit. Like I said, each of you can make and will make a difference. One of the great things about working in corrections is that each and every day is different. You'll learn something new every day, and just when you think you've quit learning, something will change. So remain open to learning and growing in your career. You'll get out of it what you put into it. Role model the kinds of behaviors you expect to see from others, and reinforce those behaviors in others when you do see them by letting them know that they're doing well. Likewise, hold them accountable when they aren't doing well, and allow them to learn by redirecting them in a positive direction. You've been at your work site for a week now, and it's likely that you've already seen examples of employees who, by the way they carry themselves and the way that they interact with others, you think, now that's a corrections professional. You may have also seen one or two who are just doing enough to get by, while they seem to gripe about everyone and everything, and are looking for another shortcut. Every workplace has them, but fortunately for us, they're rare in corrections. My advice to you is to model yourself after the best, if you want to be one of the best. That's what I did and will continue to do as I learn from and work for you. I started my career as a correctional officer and have proudly served as your director since 2003. You could possibly do the same. You have a challenging and rewarding career ahead of you, and I again want to thank you and welcome you to this new and exciting career and to our corrections family. I look forward to meeting you in person and hope to see you in the weeks, months, and years to come. Thank you for being here. Now, I'd like to turn you back over to the onboarding team for a final message. Thank you.
It takes a team to make things happen. It takes communication,
Teamwork,
Motivation,
dedication,
openness,
Commitment,
organization,
respect.
Enthusiasm.
knowledge.
on behalf of OnBoarding,
welcome to the DOC!
Sam Borbay. As the WDOC program manager. Cut.
What did I do now? No, I feel like this is going to be really hard for me. I'm going to try. Get it together. Alright.
So the things that I need to do, my work, are different than someone who screws up like Hogan's goat.
So good.
Okay.
That was good.
It was so good until I got.
Can I just have a break? Can it wait?
Nope, it sure can't.
What am I saying?
Finger on kind of what changes I've undergone, but it just seems like it's drug on forever. Man, it's hot in there. God.
Oh, sorry.
The gold will straight to you. Do you think we should start with a dance? Welcome to WDOC.
Okay, pause the video and discuss what might happen if their communication styles continue to clash, and then resume again.
I gotta watch my hand.
Absolutely done with this. I cannot keep working like this. There's changes and more changes and more changes. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm absolutely done with you. That's how not to do it.
This is not how you should handle it ever. What do
We're
you
gonna have
think?
to really.
I'm so frustrated. This isn't gonna work. The toes off my. Oh, sorry. I hate my hair.
Hi, I'm Steve Lindley, the Deputy Director of the Department of Corrections, and it just feels like the workload has been excessive lately. I don't want to say anything to the director, because I don't think he's putting more work on me, but I just feel old and kind of worn out. And don't repeat this to him. I don't want him to hear that, but
What?
oh, hi, Director Lanford.
What?